So what you see in here now is what I put in here after Harvey and after I got it all cleaned up, after it got painted, the floors got painted, and I redid it because I didn't want it just sitting out here just being nothing. Hey guys. So I was thinking about, you know, I said I was going to contact Ted and see if he was interested in the camper, and then I had so many comments about show us the camper, show us the camper. So I'll show y'all, and I thought I showed this before in an old video, but I have so many new subscribers, so maybe I didn't. So here we go. Okay, it's cool in here. Now let me turn the camera. Ta-da! My sister said that painting reminded her of me when I was young. Always reading. And evidently I like the color red. You guys all know that. So evidently that's me at some point in my before life and some other life. So this is the camper. I'm gonna look to the right first. This is the doorway of the little camper house. This is the camper house. That doorway steps into the camper. So there's a bathroom down there. See, this is what I say. I just, when I don't know what to do with a piece of furniture, it ends up coming out here. There's a dresser I had in my room, and I don't use the dark anymore. Something splashed on it. Have a clawfoot tub. And then there's the big, deep utility sink. Hot water heater is in this closet right here. And then it's just one single 12-inch cabinet, kitchen cabinet right there and over there. One big piece of plywood to cover the whole piece. And then I stained it and polished it 3 or 4 times and then cut the hole and dropped that sink in. So this gave me a place to wash dishes, because in the original kitchen, which I'll show y'all that, the kitchen to the camper, it was still there prior to Harvey. But there was no, I'd covered the sink with a piece of plywood because the sink was nasty and it didn't hold, you know, it was a camper sink. So prior to Harvey, well, actually when I was fixing this house up to live in it, the little countertop that was in there that came down from the refrigerator, the real refrigerator, the built-in, which is still there, and I'll show you that in a second. It come down the wall and it had a sink in this end. And I took the faucet off and all of that kind of stuff so it was flat, and put a couple of shims in there to bring it up with the little lip of the sink. And I just laid a piece of plywood across it and put a little trim around the edge, and it just made a countertop for sitting the coffee pot or sitting the toaster, those kind of things. But anyway, so this was the bathroom. This is the addition. Front door was right there. You come in, this is 30 foot long from this wall to that wall. Originally the bathroom was going to be down there, and it's a lot smaller, but I couldn't get under it to do plumbing. When it got time to do plumbing, I'm going to sit down for a second. I couldn't get under that end. It's a lower end. This end down here was higher, and I couldn't get under it. So we switched and made this the bathroom. And I was happy with that, actually, when it all was said and done, because by the time you put the hot water heater in there and you put that big sink on the end, and you've got the toilet, the clawfoot tub here, which came out of my house after the fire, and then the toilet, that was perfect. And it left me a space for that cabinet, bathroom cabinet. So, you know, it's not fancy. It was done with that real thin plywood. It's called Luan, and trimmed out with little 1x2s so we could get in here and live. Me and Levi had to have a home to live in. So, and it had to be big enough. We could have probably made do with just the camper, but I had Connor and Caden at the time that I kept during the day when Buddy and Steph worked, and there was no way 4 of us could make do in there with 2 toddlers, an autistic person, and a grown person. It just wasn't enough. So then down here was the bedroom. Now, this bedroom is big enough for a full, let me turn this down. This bedroom it looks very narrow from there to there, but it actually, a full-size bed will fit this direction. So you have all this room. Now, I have a little twin in here right now, and this is how I made it up when everybody was moved out, and this was just going to be a spare room. It's just a twin. There's a hope chest that my grandmother got me when I was about 12 years old, and I started putting things in it when I was little. Right now, what's in it is a bunch of pillows, seasonal pillows, like, you know, your throw pillows that say Christmas stuff and stuff. It's the stuff that I would use, like, on the porch, not in the house. And this is just stuff, you know, it's like, you don't want to throw it away, but you don't really know what to do with it yet. It's just random. I've got rugs rolled up right here, because this is the tree that I paid actually a lot of money for this tree. It's a flock tree. Look at it. It's a heavy flock tree. I believe I don't want me to use it. So here it is. Now I've got a new flock tree, but it's very light, just tips. He's not seen it yet. It's brand new. It's never been used. It's in his closet in the house. But anyway, that tree, I don't want to, you know, there it is again. I don't want to get rid of it. It's like he doesn't want me to use it, but I don't want to get rid of it. But that was my room. So after the fire, when we got moved in here, this was carpet, and there was linoleum in there and linoleum in there. This linoleum that was in here matched what that was already linoleum. I had replaced when I got the camper. Let me go here. When I got the camper, it's a 1970 something model camper. When I got it, it was at my grandmother's house. It was left there by some renters that moved into one of her rent houses. They came in it. And when they moved out, they left it. And after so many months of her and him going back and forth, he finally said he doesn't have the vehicle anymore that pulled it. He doesn't know who he could get. So would she mind asking around and see if there was anybody interested in buying it? So she came to me and she said, come out and look at it. When I opened the door, and I don't know if the camper door is back in there, but turned flat against the house or not. I really don't. But when I got to Mama's and opened the door, you couldn't step in the floor. You couldn't. There was stuff all the way up into the bedroom part, down the floors, all the way back to the bathroom. You couldn't walk in it. And they did have tarps over the top because the skylights had been busted out, so it would leak. So they put tarps over it so it wouldn't leak. So there wasn't any permanent damage. Except around the air conditioner, there was a little bit of damage, and under one skylight, and I'll show you how I just covered that. But anyway, so my friend David had somebody that he knew that could pull it, so I paid $400 for the camper, and I paid $99 for the guy to move it here. And when he got it here, Daddy brought his low boy down, parked it basically where this house, this part is sitting right now, just right outside the door. And I started just stepping in and throwing out, step in until I made a way where I had a trail coming back and forth, and finally got it all gutted, all cleaned out. And then I pulled the carpet out from the upstairs part, and then I bought new linoleum to go on the floor all the way down. Okay, so after Harvey, all of the linoleum came out and the carpet came out of these houses. The linoleum came out of there, the original, and the stuff I put down when I was cleaning it. The linoleum came out of the bathroom, and the carpet got pulled up in here. Buddy and Tony and Jake pulled everything out of here so the floors would dry. And then I just painted the floors a gray color, and then put this rug down in here. Bought this couch to replace the one that was, well, my boss was living here at the time. She was going through a divorce, so she was staying here. Actually, no, they were waiting for their new house. She was already remarried by then, but they were waiting to get into their new. It seems like everybody has lived here when they're waiting to get into their new house. I had the camper for emergencies, but then we built this part because I might have to live here till I get a new house, and we did. Then Buddy and Steph lived in this while they built their house over here. Then Tina and Rob and the boys, Dustin and Bennett and Elijah, not Dustin, Bennett and Elijah lived here while they were waiting for their house to be built. and Dorcas and her husband lived here while they were waiting for their house. So they weren't here very long, but they were actually here during Harvey. So what you see in here now is what I put in here after Harvey and after I got it all cleaned up, after it got painted, the floors got painted, and I redid it because I didn't want it just sitting out here just being nothing. So it's back to being exactly what it was. I have now the water is turned off out here right now, but I have a functioning bathroom. I have an adorable little bedroom. And so now we're going to step into the camper part. So, oh, let me turn this way. So I built this. See, here's 2 chairs. That's what I was saying. Here's 2 chairs that I don't know what to do with them right now. I built this big fireplace backdrop. A little hearth. The fireplace itself. And then here's the mantle. And you can see the screws in it where I would hang. This is what I would put in the daycare center in their foyer when I decorated for Christmas. And I put the tree beside it. They have one little single chair in the foyer. It's not a dining room chair. It's like a doctor's office chair. It's plush. I mean, it's thick, it's upholstered, but it doesn't have arms. So I would sit it beside it down here at this end, and I sat a blanket thrown over the side of it and a book, the Christmas Carol book, flipped upside down open like somebody was sitting there reading. I put some random just fake Christmas presents under the tree and around in front of it, and some stockings hung from it. I decorated the top really pretty with stuff for the mantle, and it always looked adorable. And she even won a couple of contests with all not just this, but the whole center, everything that I would do. Anyway, I didn't know what to do with this, and this was the easiest thing I could do. I put the TV up here, up on a mount, and then I mounted this I think it's a 2x12. So it would hold this old DirecTV box. This old DirecTV box is hooked up into this TV, and if I'm out here doing something, like, let me show, I was putting this flooring down after Harvey, after it was all dried out, and I was trying to get it all back. So I was putting this flooring down. Levi would come out here and flop down on the couch, and he would watch all the things that he had recorded on this DVR. He would so you can even see the metal from the door. And this is coming out even more than it used to, because those tires on that back side of the camper are flat, and if they were aired up, that would push these back in. So it really does, either it's got to go, or I've got to get out there and do some work, like airing up some tires and stuff like that. But when you take all of this down, this casing down, and you look down in here, you can see the side of the camper, and you can see the 4x4s that are holding up the roof that goes over this, because we built an awning over this after I got it. So that's made up into a little bedroom. Now I covered, you can see the windows that were down there. I put beadboard. This was never going to be traveling down a road or going anywhere. So there's beadboard on the bottom, and there's a shelf running back there, like a little, you can put your clock or, your phone to charge. There's an outlet back there. And I put beadboard up on that wall. And then on these walls, there is some type of a little texture I did, just because they were so marked up and nicked, but they've gotten nicked since then. But this carpet is, it's, I want to say, I may have thrown out some different dates of when I got this camper, but it was sometime around 2006, I think. I actually think it was around 2006. So it's almost been sitting here 20 years. It's crazy to see that, but we're in 2024. In 2026, it's been here 20 years. But the carpet, only a few people have lived in here. It's not been like traveled. Now there's a wasp or a dirt dog or something dead right there. But the bed is made up. It's a full-size bed. These blinds came from the center. That's funny. I just thought about that. They're the fake wood blinds, but they're the wide slats. They were replacing all the blinds in the classrooms of the daycare where I did the decorating, and some of them were the wrong size. and Carlin just had them sitting out by the front door. And she goes, you know anybody want them blinds? And I'm like, what? And I said, I'll take them. And they fit these 2 windows perfectly. So, and I think there was a couple of them upstairs in the old house before, because I had this before the fire. This was, you know, we lost the house in the fire in 2012. So this had already been sitting here for a few years. And there was a couple of the blinds I put at each window upstairs. At each end of the house was a blind she just gave them to me, brand new blinds. But then we took this window out, me and Daddy did, to put this window unit in. So there's still one window over here, but whoever has this is going to either have to replace it with a RV window or put a window unit back into this section. So yeah, all this that you see, I know there's some stuff like this little piece of stuff came off, but these were all, I painted all of this, I painted it all. Now there's up there's a skylight underneath that piece of white paneling stuff. And there was a little bit of rotten, like here's one. There was more rotten stuff around the edges. But since it wasn't getting wet anymore, Daddy brought me that and said, screw this up to the ceiling. So that's what I did. And that covered that skylight, and it covered all the bad stuff that was up around that skylight. But there was that one down there. Oh, we did the same thing down here. This is where the air conditioner unit was, right here. This is where the AC was. And we put this paneling up here. Across there. And it's a little bit wavy, but it's an old camper. So this is what got ripped out after Harvey. That whole cabinet section. It started, I think it started about right here. And it came out this way and then went down and sort of did an indentation, and it only was as wide as this. So I ripped it all out after that, because after Harvey it just didn't look good anymore. So what I did was, this is why I say I use this, it's nothing but storage out here. This is a piece of that Luan thin stuff that I planned to go right here, to cut it and go in this hole. And then I was going to put the beadboard. Now this beadboard needs to be replaced, because actually, see, there was a small window. When I got this house, this AC that was up here didn't work anymore anyway, and they had a tiny AC in it, but it didn't have a thermostat, so it was on and off, and it was high or low. That was it. So this whole wall I planned to re-beadboard, but I wanted to cover this with Luan, build it out here, bring it out some, because there's an indentation there, bring it all out, and then go all the way down, take this trim stuff down, and just go all the way down with beadboard. And then I was going to build in a new countertop that goes up around this wheel well and just goes all the way down and cuts back down. But that just has not happened. And then over here where the couch was, the couch, I put all this in. There's a big window right there behind that. But I put this in. This is where the couch sat, right here on this stuff. I put a new bottom on it right here. And then this just holds a, you know, stuff like that. There's a toaster, pots and pans, things like that in there. And I just put a curtain there, and I put this countertop in. And so just now, see, I had stuff where I was doing this floor right here, it's all stacked right there. I was gonna go on that direction with it. I put that microwave, this was missing a door, so I bought a small microwave and framed it in up there, and the cord runs down the back inside that cabinet and down to this power strip right here. And then this little refrigerator that I got for it. All this stuff stays on. I mean, I don't always keep it always plugged. The refrigerator stays plugged in, and I guess the microwave always stays plugged in. But like this little oven thing, it's not plugged in right now. This I use for, well, I was using it for the trash can because it's perfect height for that 13-gallon trash can, but Mom gave me that one, so I thought, well, I'll just put that one out here, but I hadn't dumped that one yet. So this is the bathroom, and you can see the sink is still here, and the bathtub is over here, but I took the toilet out because I could stand right there and put my makeup on right there. And then this closet, which probably has junk in it, and I can't open the door because this heater, but this closet was where Levi's clothes, I kept Levi's clothes in this closet. And then since this bathtub was unusable, the bathtub is cracked, so I put a piece of plywood and wrapped it in carpet so you can see it. And that's where I sat my shoes. All my shoes, or what few shoes I had left after the fire, this is where my shoes sat. And I had put a rod up here where my clothes hung. And I just put this curtain here. And see, I have storage stuff in there now too. A couple of totes. And I have a tote here, and I have an extra heater here. And I don't know why I kept this TV. I took it out of somebody's room, and here it is in this box. This is not the box it came in. Evidently, I ordered it at 7:35 p.m. one evening. Anyway, I don't know. But this was the bathroom. This is where I put my, and Tina did too. She said this became her and Rob's closet, just like it was mine. His clothes were on one side, hers were on the other, and she kept her makeup in that cabinet there, which is where I kept my makeup, and she stood right there and put her makeup on when she was living here. That's how we did it. But you see, I just stuck down, like there's a lamp. You know, it's just like storage. It's just like stuff stuck everywhere. And I never, like I said, never finished the floors. I got the plywood down, but never finished putting the floors in. I just got busy with other stuff. It's actually a cute little camper. But whoever gets it has to put a kitchen back in, or at least a countertop. And then they have to replace the stuff in the bathroom, at least the bathtub, or you won't have a bathtub. Because you can't stand in that one that's in there. That's the reason I didn't use it. It's there, but it's got cracks in it from, you know, just from being so old, and it's fiberglass, and it's just started cracking and wouldn't hold water. I didn't move any of the black water tanks or all that stuff is still in this camper underneath down there. I mean, it could still be used as that kind of stuff, but we never had to. Now, there was a little bit of short time that Tony was staying here, and Buddy too, during different times before when it was just a camper, there was no house, they just stayed in the camper. I can tell you that one little utility sink, one little utility heater will heat this whole camper. Not that part, I'm talking about when it was just a camper. He had I gave him a utility heater. Tony was here during the winter. And now it didn't look like this. It was before the flood, and some of this stuff wasn't like, well, the white was here and the green was here. That was all how I painted everything. But probably that curtain was here. There was a whole lot that was here like this, but like this still had its kitchen sink and cabinet stuff when he was here. But I have given him a utility heater, those little 20-buck ones you buy at Walmart, and it sat right here, and it warmed this entire camper with one little heater. And I got stuff in here. I've got those ready to eat meals. I don't know, in case something happens and we go back into prehistoric times. My milk bottles that I plan to use for when I milk Molly. I had bought those when I was milking one of Dad's goats. But it's just, you know, just a little bit of random stuff, but it's a big camper. I mean, it's big and it's got a lot of storage in it. And I think it's still worth a little bit of something, but I wouldn't mind just giving it to somebody that I know that could use it. Ted's got his nephew, and maybe he's got a son that's, you know, sort of like young adult. I don't know if he's got a girlfriend or not, but this could be a cute little, just a single person or a couple's little house. but it just has to have some stuff put back in. It has to have a bathroom put back in. He could actually put in a home toilet. He didn't have to use the like go buy a camper toilet, but he'd have to replace the bathtub, and he has to put a kitchen, at least this side over here, where you'd have some plumbing back in. Anyway, this is my little camper house. It's got a whole bunch of little stuff in it, but I like it. Let's keep a light on in here at night just to have. The camper, after I got it set up out here, not this part, but when I first got just the camper, and I worked on it, and I got it painted and bead boarded, and you know, new carpet and linoleum on the floor, and it had I still had that one. I still had the window unit that came in it, because it did work. It was just like I said, it was high and low and on and off. That's all you got. I would use that, and there were times that when you just need a breather, when I would need a breather from Levi, when Levi was just giving me a hard time and I really needed to take a breath, I would like maybe sometimes walk to the mailbox and get the mail, and I would come back, open this door, step in, and in the dining room, I didn't, I think I just had like a small round table at the time, and then I had a chair. It may have been, seriously, it may have been this chair, but there was a chair in there, like a lazy boy chair, and I had a little table sort of about underneath the air conditioner, and then the chair sat where that little dining room table sits right now. And I would sit there, and then in this corner right here, because the TV, well, I turned and y'all can't see what I'm saying, but this corner right here was a built-in cabinet. Where this refrigerator is, was a built-in catty-cornered cabinet. And there was a small TV. I'd put a small TV up in that cabinet. In fact, it was an old-fashioned, the old ones with the backs on them. But it fit up in that cabinet, catty-cornered, perfect, like it was made for it. And it was something that the previous people had put in. There was a bottom came with the cabinet. It was like you know, like coffee table height. But he had built on top of that like this catty-cornered floor-to-ceiling cabinet. And it had shelves in it. And I had like a little 13-inch TV that fit in it perfectly. And I would come out here, and I had a cable box. When Buddy moved out of the upstairs, I ran the cable across the driveway up in the trees, and it came down and in the window that you can't see anymore in the dining room, in the kitchen part, and hooked in. And so I had the cable box out here. And yeah, I would come and sit, and I'd turn that air conditioner on, and I would sit, and I would read the mail and look at the mail and look at something on TV. I'd be out here maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but it gave me, you know, because it's hard sometimes. Anyone that has a child with a disability, or someone in their family that they take care of with a disability, even if it's a parent or, you know, someone in your family that you have to take care of, it gets so to where your mind is tired. I don't film Levi on his bad moments. I don't think, maybe a couple of times, just some light issues that I let y'all see glimpses into. But there are times when it's like, I can't take another minute. I've got to get out of here. Now, I would never leave him, like go on a vacation. But, you know, I have said, I'm going to go up and see G for a minute, and I got to go, I go take this to G, and I'll be back. And he don't know I'm going to just take a breath, to go in Mama's house and get a glass of tea. I can look at him on my phone. I can check him. You know, I go get, well, I don't, I haven't even had fingernails or toenails done in for so long. I've been doing them myself, but it just seems I can't take a minute. But you know, there are things that I do without him sometimes. And then there's sometimes I go and I do something without him and I feel a little bit guilty that I didn't take him. But sometimes you just have to give yourself some freedom a little bit. I'm not saying you go for a weekend and leave your autistic or your disabled person with no help, but you can go for 30 or 45 minutes into another building or to somebody else's house or to Sonic to get you a Coke to drive home with all on your own without listening to somebody this or turning this radio station or the radio and the tablet going at the same time. If you turn the radio off, they turn it back on, but they're also watching a tablet that you can hear because they didn't bring their headphones. Those things that can just and make your mind tired. And so yeah, I used to use this camper a little bit as an escape. And so I remember the first time Buddy saying something about tearing all this down or something. I remember getting that knot in my throat because, you know, I'd had the camper and I'd worked on it, and it's not like I was out looking for an RV, but it did come in handy. I mean, when I first got it here, and Dad brought that low boy down here for me to pile the trash on, and David brought me a generator, and I plugged it right in out the back door so I could turn that air conditioner on while I worked in here. And when you're done, just like anything you do in your own house, or when you sit down and you look at it and you're so proud of your accomplishment, and then next thing you know, 6-7 years later, you're living in it permanently, but well, not permanently, but you're living in it because you no longer have a home. There's a sense of loss. You go through something because you're fixing to, there's a thought of losing that was something important that you needed to survive a situation, and now you're not going to have it. You're, you know, for whatever reason. And I remember getting that knot in my throat, and I remember Steph saying, Buddy, just leave her alone. Buddy wanted their barn to be right here. He wanted me to let him tear all this down, and he wanted to put his barn right here. So, and at the time I was thinking of selling it. I wasn't thinking of, you know, just go ahead and get rid of it, let it be gone so you can concentrate on other things. And I think that's where I'm at. So, all right, I love you guys. I'm gonna go. God bless y'all. This is a long video. I rambled, but y'all have seen the camper now, and it's cute. I think it's cute. All right, love you. God bless y'all. Katie, I'm trying to do a video.